Well, what's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and I'm done. I'm done with the raging, with the frustration, with the anger. I'm done with all that. I'm just going to accept the fact that it's another it's another season like the last time we won the league. It's just another one of those seasons. I tried to deny it. I tried to think, oh no, it's different this time. We got a new manager. He's gonna make sure we don't get lazy. He's gonna make sure, but that's not the problem. The problem is our system, the way the board is set up, the way all of the transfers and everything that has to do with our club is set up. We're set up for a short-term success with a manager. They'll win a trophy, they'll do well for a year or two, but after that, it's not. They're not set up in such a way where they're going to help the manager out. They're going to do as much as they can and give him as much help as they can. We're not set up that way. There's a disconnect between the manager and the board, and it's always been that way. And it kills us every season. After the manager comes in, a lot of fire, a lot of vigor. Oh, we've got these players. We got the players we need. Let's go win the league. We go and do it. And then the board is just like, we're good. We don't need any more players. And they don't understand that you've got to refresh the squad. You've got to give some new players. You've got to make some changes. You got to listen to the manager and hear what he's saying. But they don't think like that. Now, I'm not going to say the board is entirely responsible. And from Conte's point of view, you got a pay raise this year. You should care a bit more about your decision making. But it's kind of a little bit of both. They're butting heads right now, and our performances, our results are suffering because of it. So, yeah, I'm done trying to get all passionate and I'm so angry, because what I'm gonna do is end up giving myself a stroke if I truly were to put all my energy into this, because that's honestly, obviously it's how I felt after the Bournemouth result, but going into this game, looking at the lineup, I was just like, you know what, I don't care. If they're not going to care, I'm not going to care. And I'm just going to accept that our season is most likely done. We'll be lucky to come out of this with an FA Cup, if that. So anyway, let's talk about the game today. First of all, just mention the officials, because obviously they did have a hand in it today. The red card, not really deserved. The first yellow was, but the second yellow was just Richarlison diving again, and all these players that dive, there are no consequences for them. They talk about the going back and punishing those players for diving, but it never happens. Sterling never gets banned for his dives. Richarlison does it all the time, never gets banned. And here's another example. And there's not even a karma backlash. Well, except for Sterling. Missed from 3 yards. I have to take my punches at Man City whenever I can, because frankly, it hasn't happened that often this season. But yeah, so not a second yellow, in my opinion. Just, he didn't really make any contact with Richarlison at all, and he just goes down like he just got shot. And the referee's like, okay, yeah, I'd buy that, and then gives him a second yellow. To be fair, though, it didn't really hurt us that badly, because Bakayoko was going off, and he probably would have gotten a second yellow later on anyway, because he's a moron. So the only thing it did change was that instead of figuratively playing with 10 men, we were now literally playing with 10 men. But that's about the only thing there. On the penalty, I'm still not entirely convinced that it was a foul. I know I posted something on Twitter about Richarlison's dive, and I also said Deulofeu dove it as well. And a Chelsea fan came back and said, nah, you're right on the first one, but on Deulofeu there definitely was contact. I only got 2 views of it, to be fair, so I didn't really get a great view of it. But when I watched the slow-mo, it wasn't a good angle. I couldn't tell. It looked like he may have had contact with his body to his foot. But in my opinion, just watching it, Deulofeu, whenever your head flies back like that, and you're already screaming before the contact even happens. Obviously, slow-mo, it looks worse. But, I don't know, just the fact that his head goes... anytime a player does that, it means there's not enough contact to go down, in my opinion. Anytime a player does that, there's not enough. And so that's why, in my opinion, I don't think that's a penalty. Because I never see a player actually do this number when it's actually a foul. Most of the time they do that because they want to make it look worse. So That's just my opinion. Maybe there was contact, but if there was, it obviously wasn't enough because he had to sell it to make it look like a penalty. So that's all for the referees. I mean, those are the only two decisions that really mattered today. And I just, ultimately it doesn't affect the entire game because the rest of it had nothing to do with the referees. But anyway, on to Conte because, like I said, his decision today seemed apathetic. I will say, though, in fairness to him, I looked up on Twitter after the game because I like to see his press conferences, what he's saying, because I've been saying for a while now, I want to know what's going on in his mind, some of the decisions he's making. I want to know what he's thinking because he's made some stupid and strange decisions. I will say he was honest after the game today. Just these two tweets that came in, I was very surprised that he said it. Conte says it is easy to play when there's great confidence, but to play in a great club in a moment like this, you must show personality. He says he takes responsibility as maybe he chose the wrong starting 11. I mean, I don't disagree. Honestly, when I saw the starting 11, I went on Twitter, onto the Chelsea Twitter page, and I'm just like, seriously? I listed all the problems with it. I'm just like, this game has L written all over it. And obviously I was right. But it's just surprising to me that he actually said that he's taking responsibility for choosing the wrong starting 11. Now, which players is he talking about? Obviously Bakayoko was awful today, but is he also talking about playing Zappacosta the third time? Because that was a problem. Is he talking about playing David Luiz instead of Rudiger or Ampadu, who have shown time and time again that they can play? Is he talking about not going with the recognized striker again for some reason? I mean, those are all problems that I picked out. The four main problems from that starting lineup. Is he talking about all of those, part of those, none of those? Is he talking about like, oh, I shouldn't have played Conte again today, man, he just looked tired? I don't know. That's the only thing I'm taking away from this, though, is that it was a very honest statement. Then he went on to say, Conte says for sure this is the difficult moment, but he does not believe you solve it by looking for excuses. He adds that winners find solutions, losers find excuses. Maybe a little bit of a jab at Mourinho because he loves to find excuses whenever they're not playing well. But I think that mentality is right. Now, does he truly believe it or is he just posturing for the cameras? I don't know. But here's the problem, though. It doesn't end with the starting 11. That wasn't the only problem I had with his decisions today. The subs. The first one, kind of a foregone conclusion. Bakayoko gets sent off. You have to bring on a midfielder to sort of fill that gap. And, I mean, Fabregas, it's either Fabregas or Drinkwater. Drinkwater hasn't been playing well recently. So, yeah, throw in Fabregas. In my opinion, probably should have started, but, now he's in. You take off Willian, who's coming back from injury and didn't really look up to pace. Okay, that's fine. The second one, Giroud on for Pedro. Okay, fine. We get to see him for his first game. Hate the fact that he's coming in at a man down and, now he's pretty much kind of isolated up top. So I hate the fact that he's coming in a difficult situation when they're already a goal up and we're already a man down. I mean, that's hard to come into. But, comes in for Pedro, who picked up some sort of injury. Don't know how bad it is. Okay, that one makes sense too. The third one, though. I mean, bringing on nobody for anybody, that's just a strange decision to me. Why? As soon as Hazard equalized, I'm thinking, make a change. Make a change. We're finally on the front foot for a moment, but I know that can change at any instant. I know as soon as we score, they're going to come flying right back at us. Make a change. In fact, I thought it looked like the players were going over and saying, hey, bring somebody on. I thought that's what they were saying, but then nobody comes on. No third sub. And 3 minutes later, what happens? Everybody gets run by because everybody's tired. In my opinion, you've got players to use. You can bring on Palmieri for his first start. Bring him on for Zappacosta, who was at fault for the second goal. I mean, just completely let the guy run by him. I don't remember who ran by him now. I think it was Janmat. But I mean, he's one-on-one with him. Just force him down the line. But he is so... I mean, first of all, he's not good enough defensively anyway. But when he's not good enough defensively and he's worn out, I mean, just right by him. He's in. Nobody else is pressuring. And then pass, goal. I'm just like, really? We're not going to make any changes? No Palmieri for Zappacosta, no Rudiger coming on and pushing David Luiz in the midfield. So now we have, more defensive stability back there. We've got more of a work rate. No, maybe even Callum Hudson-Odoi up top for Hazard, and maybe have him drop deeper because now he's working hard. He's already shown he has the pace to keep up with a lot of people in the Premier League, and he's got the work rate for it. Nobody, no change at all. So in my opinion, it's not just the starting 11 Conte's got to fix. It's got to be the subs. The subs have got to get better. This season, the subs have been probably not necessarily the worst I've seen at Chelsea. Gus 2 seasons ago made some pretty strange subs as well. But I don't know, they've just not been good subs. And compared to last season when he was making subs that were positively influencing the game, it's just strange to me that he hasn't been making the right subs. It's been subs that just don't change anything, or sometimes, just subs that hurt us by bringing on a player that has less energy than the player he's taken off. So, anyway, that's it for Conte. It's hard to talk about individuals today because, first of all, anytime you go a man down, most players are going to look poor in that case, because now you're having to do nearly twice as much work when one of your teammates goes off. So, I don't know. It's hard for me to judge them individually. Courtois, I didn't see the fourth goal. I did see the second and third ones, and at that point I just shut it off because I'm just like, I'm done. This is stupid. So, I don't know. It's really hard to blame him for any of the goals. You could say because Deulofeu was going so far wide, just let him go. No reason to chase him out for the penalty. But for the second and third ones, you got to blame it on the defense for just not doing anything. And part of that is because they were tired from defending all game. I'll give them that. But, yeah, it's still, you can't really put a lot of blame on Courtois today, aside from maybe the penalty. And that's if you want to say, like I said, if you want to say it's a penalty, which I still think he's embellishing. But into the defense, Azpilicueta, he worked hard for most of the game. And I find it hard to fault him for much of anything because, frankly, he's been one of the hardest workers defensively for us this season. And so to see him being worn out for these past 2 games because he's the one having to do a lot of the work. Last game he's left isolated because Zappacosta's all the way downfield, not giving him any help defensively. And then in this game, he's worn out because, playing a man down, he's got to do more defensive work. I find it hard to fault him for anything. So if he did make a mistake for any of the goals, I'm going to give him a pass because he works hard enough to earn a few mistakes here and there. David Luiz, same old, same old. I didn't want to see him today, and this game showed why. He's lazy on the ball. The touches are so slow that it just slows down the entire pace of the game, and then he just dumps the ball forward to absolutely no one, and we lose possession again, and now they're back at us, and now we're having to defend again. So he's bringing nothing to the field. In my opinion, he should never see the field again, but Conte seems to want to use him for some reason over players like Ampadu who are confident and calm on the ball and actually play well, or Rudiger who is hard-working defender and moves the ball around well. I don't know. The fact that you can play David Luiz over Rudiger or over Ampadu to me is stupid. And it's another apathetic decision that's just like, oh, David Luiz played last season, so let's throw him in. That's just a I don't care decision. Cahill, kind of in line with David Luiz, back to same old for him. Just, on the ball, he's lazy, he's making stupid decisions, putting himself under pressure unnecessarily when he could have just gotten rid of it. And then just so many times it feels like he just doesn't have it defensively anymore. There are a few games there for a while where I'm just like, okay, Cahill's actually playing pretty well defensively. He's putting in good challenges, but these past 2 games, he's just looked snail's pace. He can't keep up with anybody. He's getting run by players, and it's just embarrassing to watch for our captain to be so bad. Moses on the right side, I don't know, he worked hard, which I'll give him that, and it's why I want to see him over players like Zappacosta, because he works hard both sides of the ball. He will get up and down the field. He'll try to help out in the attack. He'll try to help out in defense. the effectiveness could be better, but frankly, at this point, effectiveness is not what I'm concerned about because not a lot of players on our team are being very effective. It's the hard work. It's the effort you put in. Okay, your passes are off. Well, are you working hard to win the ball back? Okay, I'll accept that. And that's where getting into the midfield, Bakayoko, for me, is just, he's got to be done. You got to drop him to the reserves or something. You've got to do something that's either going to punish him for this game or is going to, I don't know. The thing is, I've been talking about how you don't want to just like completely cut him off because then you drop his confidence. And for a young player, you don't want to drop his confidence. You want to give him a chance to grow. I understand that completely. But you can't keep giving him game time. Because against Bournemouth, he gave away the first goal. And then in this one, how many times did he give away the ball in the 30 minutes before he got sent off? I counted at least 6. Where he's just bad pass right to one of their attackers and they're in on goal. Just so many times. And it's like he didn't care. That's the biggest problem for me, is that you can give the ball away. That's fine. Conte does it. Moses does it. Everybody in the field gives the ball away at some point. But are you going to work hard to win it back? Are you going to do as much as you can to make sure they don't score a goal? I don't see that from Bakayoko. I see just kind of a, like he's getting frustrated and he's not really working hard. You know, with Conte, he gives the ball away, just boom, right on him. Bad pass, boom, he's right on him. He's forcing him to make a mistake. He's trying to win the ball back. He's doing everything he can. And that's the biggest difference for me between Conte and Bakayoko, is that both of them will make bad passes here and there. Conte will work to win the ball back. Bakayoko will not. Bakayoko doesn't deserve to be on the field. Now, will Fabregas bring anything different? I don't know. You know, he brings a bit more attacking flair. Does he bring much defensively? Not necessarily, but you know what? I've seen him work hard this year, which is something I haven't seen Bakayoko do in any of the past, 5 or 6 games that he's played. So, yeah. It's all coming down to, are you going to work hard? And there's some players that don't. David Luiz doesn't. Cahill doesn't. Bakayoko doesn't. Moving on. Zappacosta doesn't. He doesn't have that hard work to come and just win the ball back. You know, that fire, I'm gonna get that ball. It's my ball. You have the ball. You're attacking my goal. I want that ball back. He doesn't have that. He will get up in the attack all day. He's not a defender. Which is ironic because at the beginning I was talking about, he might bring some more defensive cover than Moses. You know, he works more defensively than Moses does. That was maybe the first game I saw him work defensively. Ever since then, he's just been mingling around in the front 3 and hardly ever comes back. And it kills us. And especially you put him on the side with Cahill, I mean, that's just deadly. That is a killer combination right there for us defensively. Because you got 2 guys that one doesn't work defensively at all, the other one's just too slow. And De La Feto's just like, thank you. Thanks, Conte. I'll take that all day long. So, yeah. That's about it for the midfield. Up into the front 3. Biggest problem, once again, no striker. You know, no Giroud for some reason, even though he's available. But he's not quite ready yet. Ironically, and this is probably going to be the first and only time I ever say this, Wenger is actually smarter than Conte. Aubameyang comes in, get him in. Dortmund, Batshuayi, get him in. Both of them start. The third one out of those 3, put him on the bench. Bring him off as a sub. I mean, it doesn't get much more simple than that. You know, even Wenger can figure it out. Let's put the new striker in right away because we need him. He's even got other options for striker. We don't. We don't have another striker right now. Murata's still injured. Put Giroud in. Nah. He's not ready. And once again, the front 3 fails. The front 3 without a recognized striker fails. The biggest problem with it, Hazard is not a false 9. They've been talking about, he can play any position on the field. Here's the thing. He can, but he's most effective when he's playing in behind a striker. That is when he is most effective, and we needed most effective today. We didn't need kind of effective because Watford are going to bounce back. We knew they were going to bounce back. It had to happen at some point, and it happened today. So we need to be at the top of our game. Well, putting up a front three isn't the top of our game. You isolate Hazard, Willian and Pedro. Willian's coming back from injury, so I don't really... It's hard to blame him for not really being up to pace. I think he got thrown in today, not ready, which you've got Hudson-Odoi. Use him. They loaned Masonda out, unfortunately, because our board's stupid. The people in charge of transfers are stupid. So, yeah, you are kind of limited in that attacking mid option. But you go Hazard, Hudson-Odoi, Giroud up top. That's a strong front three. Pedro's not in the field to give the ball away time and time again. Willian gets more rest because he needs it. And Hazard is playing in the position he needs to be playing in. That fixes the front three right away. Now, is Giroud going to be as good a player? And I'm still not convinced. I still don't think he's the answer. I think we should have kept Batshuayi. But with that being said, that front three, hardworking Callum Hudson-Odoi, the brilliance of Eden Hazard. I mean, God, had probably one of the worst games of his life, still managed to pull up a fantastic goal out of nothing to try to get us back into the game. And then Giroud up top as a recognized striker, a target man that we can try to find with our defense so that it's not just booted up to the defense every single time and it's just like, oh, right back at us because we've got no strength up there. I mean, that front three just sounds so much better than Willian Pedro Hazard. Because I've seen that. That doesn't work. Let's try something different. Let's change things up. Nah. Not going to do that. Not going to make changes now. I mean, why should we? Liverpool just went a point ahead of us. Tottenham are now 1 point behind us. Man U just pulled away more points away from us. I think 4 or 5 now. Why would we make changes? I mean, we are dropping. Why would we want to change anything? Because that would just be smart. We don't want to be smart right now. So, I'm actually kind of getting a little bit angry, so I probably need to wrap this up soon. As far as the subs that came on, Fabregas had a few good passes over the top. Still, his passing today looked a lot better than it did whenever he played last game. But his energy in the middle definitely just didn't match the energy that Watford had, and that was a big problem. And I think that's kind of why he should have started. You start him off in that middle, you work the ball around, he helps you keep possession. I think we wear down Watford's midfield a lot quicker if he's in there moving the ball around. But with Bakayoko giving them the ball, I mean, that makes it easier for them. So they don't have to work nearly as hard. And then Giroud comes on, and at that point I was only kind of half watching because, I don't know, I was super pissed off. This was before I decided not to care anymore. So, I don't know, I didn't get to see a whole lot of him. What I did see was just kind of, he looks like he's willing to work hard, but he just doesn't have that same speed that most of our strikers do to chase down the defense and really put pressure on him. It just seems a little bit slower. But anyway, like I said, I'm done with all the frustration. Even if we win the next game, I don't find any joy in the season anymore because the title's gone and we're going to get knocked out by Barcelona. There's no doubt in that. Barcelona's having a great season. We look terrible. FA Cup, I mean, we'll probably beat Hull in the next round, but as soon as we hit a tough team, like a Man City, a Man U, a Tottenham, as soon as we hit one of them, we'll easily get knocked out because we're not that level this season. We look apathetic. The coach looks apathetic. The board was apathetic with transfers. The players look apathetic. Nobody cares anymore. And that's sad. It's sad that coming off of a great title-winning season, we were easily the best. This could have been the season it would have been us and Man City just battling it out. Two good teams. We have the talent. We clearly have the talent. But between not picking up the certain players that we need to replace other players, and then now the coach gets upset by that, and now he's picking teams that just aren't really helping us this season. Some of the players just aren't helping us. It's just been a slow descent where it felt kind of hopeful for most of the season, and now we're just at free fall. And there's no telling. Either it's going to take, Conte realizing that he's got to work with what he's got and he just turns it around, or it's going to take him getting sacked. And then we bring in somebody else who manages to get the team ready to play for the last half of the season to save our Champions League spot. But I don't want that. I don't want to be in that position where we got to sack the coach because, he's not getting it. Conte's got to get it done. The decision has to be his to get the job done. And it's as simple as that. So that's it for me. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Are you feeling the same way I am? Let me know what you can talk about and discuss, all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea reviews. I'll see you guys in the next game. Peace out.